The remnants of Earth's once mighty fleet drifted like shattered dreams among the stars. In the cold expanse of space, where silence reigned supreme, the faint pulse of communication signals broke the stillness, snippets of broadcast messages laced with laughter and derision. The cosmic void, vast and unyielding, had become the stage upon which humanity's pride was mercilessly mocked. Across the dark tapestry of space, battered warships and aging cruisers, each a relic of a bygone era, struggled to maintain formation. Their hulls, scarred by decades of conflict and neglect, shimmered under the distant glare of dying suns. These ships, now more symbolic monuments of humanity's former glory than functional vessels, carried the weight of countless hopes and the sting of bitter defeat. As the fleet floated silently near the edges of the solar system, a series of intercepted transmissions crackled to life on the communication channels. The alien voices, smooth and cold, delivered messages that cut through the darkness like icy daggers. In a language filled with a cruel mixture of scientific precision and arrogant glee, the Arcanian armada belittled Earth's outdated defenses. Every syllable was designed to humiliate, each word a reminder that humanity was seen as an insignificant, obsolete species. The mockery was not just in the tone, but in the calculated structure of the transmissions, a deliberate effort to shatter morale even before the first shot was fired. Far below, back on Earth, the sprawling megacities stood as stark contrasts to the isolation of space. These urban jungles, pulsating with neon lights and the constant hum of machinery, bore the scars of a civilization that had reached for the stars only to fall short. Once thriving centers of innovation and ambition, the cities now served as somber reminders of a legacy tarnished by hubris and external contempt. The people, resilient yet weathered by years of strife, lived with a bittersweet mix of pride and regret. Their gazes often turned skyward, not with hope, but with a resigned sorrow, a silent acknowledgement of their diminished status on the galactic stage. On Mars and the Moon, once regarded as the hopeful frontier of human colonization, bases and outposts dotted barren landscapes. These installations, designed to be the stepping stones to a grander future, now resembled ghost towns. Their corridors echoed with the memories of frantic preparations and desperate last stands. The crimson dust of Mars mingled with the cold, desolate silence of the lunar plains, each a stark reminder of how far humanity had fallen from its once vaunted ambitions. Within the command center of the flagship Aurora's Hope, the flicker of holographic displays cast eerie shadows over the faces of the few remaining crew members. In this isolated outpost of defiant humanity, every alert and each intercepted message heightened the palpable tension. The atmosphere was thick with a mixture of anxiety and determination, as if every soul on board could sense that the universe was holding its breath in anticipation of an inevitable reckoning. Amidst the routine of maintenance checks and strategic briefings, whispers of doubt permeated the corridors. Veteran officers exchanged knowing glances, their expressions etched with the silent agony of defeat and the stubborn ember of resistance. There was no denying the cold truth. Humanity's interstellar legacy had been reduced to a whisper, an echo of a once resounding cry. And yet, within this chasm of despair, a fragile, unspoken resolve began to take root. A resolve that, despite the merciless taunts of an alien empire, there remained a spark of defiance waiting to be kindled into a blaze of redemption. In one secluded observation bay, an officer paused before a panoramic viewport that stretched out into the cosmic abyss. The stars, indifferent and eternal, twinkled like distant memories of a brighter past. The officer's thoughts wandered to what had been lost, the camaraderie of battles fought and won, the shared dreams of a united humanity that reached out eagerly to embrace the future. Now, all that remained were fragments of that glory, scattered among the void like the pieces of a shattered mirror. The cacophony of derision from the Arcanian transmissions mingled with the solemn hum of the ship's engines, a stark contrast to the silence of the vacuum outside. It was as if the universe itself was mocking the folly of pride and the transience of power. Each taunting remark served as both a reminder of past failures and a challenge for those who still dared to dream. For in every derisive note lay the potential for a counterstrike, a chance to reclaim what had been lost, and to prove that even in the face of overwhelming odds, humanity could still rise. In the midst of this turbulent mixture of emotions, the seeds of rebellion began to sprout. The scattered fleet, though battered and outnumbered, was not entirely without hope. Behind every scarred hull and every tired face was the promise of a hidden strength, an innate resilience that had been forged in the crucible of adversity. This was the beginning of a journey marked by sorrow, struggle, and ultimately, a fight for survival and dignity. As the chapter closed on the void's bitter mockery, the stage was set for a saga that would test the very limits of human endurance. The echoes of humiliation would soon give way to the roar of defiance, and the cold, indifferent stars would witness the rebirth of a civilization determined to cast off the shackles of its past and reclaim its rightful place among the cosmos. Deep within the steel corridors of the flagship Aurora's Hope, the hum of systems and the soft clatter of routine tasks belied the storm that raged in the hearts of its crew. At the heart of this quiet tension, in a private chamber bathed in the glow of holographic displays, Captain Aurora Ori Vega stood before a panoramic viewport. Outside, the unending void of space stretched into infinity, punctuated only by distant, indifferent stars. Vega's eyes, a steely mirror of determination and hidden grief, traced the contours of those celestial bodies. Each flicker of light recalled a memory, a battle fought, a friend lost, a promise to restore Earth's pride. The captain's mind was a repository of both painful history and resolute ambition. Today, every beat of her heart throbbed with the weight of responsibility and the fierce desire to ignite a revolution from the ashes of defeat. In a quiet moment of introspection, the captain's thoughts were interrupted by the gentle yet insistent chime of her comlink. "Captain, the preliminary diagnostics are complete," came the measured voice of Lieutenant Marlowe, her second in command and one of Vega's most trusted officers. "The engines are stable, and the new navigational algorithms are ready for testing." Vega's lips curved into a subtle smile, a rare glimpse of warmth amid the hardened resolve. "Good, Lieutenant," she replied, her voice low but resolute. "We must be prepared for every eventuality. The enemy's taunts may have weakened our spirits, but they will never break our resolve." As she moved from the solitude of her chamber to the bustling command center, the captain's presence seemed to steady the turbulent energy around her. Crew members, seasoned veterans and fresh-faced recruits alike, turned their attention toward her. Eyes that had once been clouded by despair now sparked with a rekindled flame of determination. In the command center, holographic star maps and tactical schematics floated midair, dancing in a soft glow that mirrored the anticipation in the room. Vega's confident stride and authoritative gaze silenced any murmurs of uncertainty. The captain began a briefing, her words deliberate and measured. "Listen up," she began, her tone both gentle and firm. "We have been underestimated for too long. Every ship in this fleet, every soldier on board, carries within them the spirit of humanity, a spirit that no enemy can extinguish. Today, we test our new navigational systems. Tomorrow, we reclaim our pride." Her voice resonated, filling the room with a palpable energy that transcended the cold metal and circuitry. As she outlined the intricacies of the prototype technology, a system designed to maneuver with unprecedented agility and precision, the crew absorbed every word, their resolve solidifying with each technical detail. In the midst of the briefing, Vega allowed herself a brief pause, her gaze shifting to a framed photograph on a nearby console. It was a relic of her early days, a snapshot of a younger, idealistic officer standing shoulder to shoulder with comrades in the glow of a dawn that promised endless possibilities. That day had been the genesis of her unwavering belief in the potential of humanity, a belief that now burned brighter than ever. "Remember," she said, addressing the room with quiet intensity, "we are not defined by our losses, but by how we rise from them. Our future depends on our unity, our courage, and our relentless pursuit of excellence. Let this new technology be the first step towards a resurgence that will echo through the void and shake the very foundations of our enemies." The crew responded with determined nods and murmurs of agreement, the atmosphere in the command center transforming into one of collective resolve. In that moment, Captain Vega was not merely a commander issuing orders. She was a beacon of hope, a living embodiment of humanity's enduring spirit. As the meeting drew to a close and the crew dispersed to their respective duties, Vega lingered near the viewport. The vast emptiness of space no longer seemed solely a void of despair, but a canvas upon which the future could be boldly painted. Her mind was already racing with plans, strategies, and the promise of new beginnings. In the silent communion between the captain and the cosmos, a fragile yet powerful resolve took root, a resolve that whispered of battles to be fought, of victories to be won, and of a legacy that would one day eclipse the taunts of the past. With each passing moment, the seeds of defiance grew stronger, heralding the dawn of a movement that would reshape the destiny of humanity. In the cold corridors of space, where silence and shadow converge, the alien whispers began to weave a tale of cold superiority and merciless ambition. Far from the flickering lights of Earth's beleaguered fleet, a different world stirred, a world ruled by logic and a chilling sense of order. Here, the Arcanian Armada reigned supreme, its influence radiating across the cosmic expanse like an unseen web of power. Inside the formidable command center of the Arcanian flagship, vast panels glowed with alien script and cryptic symbols. The room pulsed with the hum of advanced technology, a symphony of calculated precision. Overlord Xyler Thorn, the architect of this cosmic empire, surveyed his domain with a gaze as cold and penetrating as the vacuum outside. His eyes, reflecting the flicker of holographic data, were filled with an unyielding conviction in his race's destined ascendancy. Thorn's voice, modulated to a tone both soothing and unervingly detached, filled the vast chamber as he addressed his lieutenants. "Our observations confirm the pitiful state of the human fleet," he declared, his words reverberating off the cold, metallic surfaces. "Their once proud vessels now resemble relics from a forgotten age, barely clinging to relevance in our expanding universe." Each word was enunciated with the precision of a master tactician, designed to instill both fear and a sense of inevitable triumph in those who followed him. The alien transmissions that reached Earth were not mere boasts. They were meticulously crafted messages, an intricate blend of scientific assessments and scornful ridicule. In carefully measured tones, they dissected human technology, highlighting its obsolescence and lack of innovation. These messages carried an air of inevitability, as if the downfall of humanity had already been written in the stars. For the Arcanian, mocking their adversary was more than a tactic. It was a declaration of cosmic order, a reminder that only the strongest were meant to rule the void. As the alien voices echoed through interstellar channels, fragments of their cold ideology seeped into every corner of space. They painted a picture of a universe where efficiency, evolution, and the relentless pursuit of perfection were the only truths that mattered. The Arcanian Armada, with its seamless integration of technology and strategy, was presented as the pinnacle of cosmic achievement, a force destined to eclipse the clumsy, nostalgic remnants of human civilization. Yet, beneath the veneer of calculated arrogance lay a subtle strategy. Overlord Thorn's broadcasts were not solely intended to demoralize. They were also a carefully orchestrated probe into the human spirit. With every sneer encoded in their digital cadence, the aliens sought to gauge the resolve of their prey. They wondered, would humanity, bruised by ridicule, crumble under the weight of its past, or would it rise, fueled by a desperate need to reclaim its honor? Amid the backdrop of alien supremacy, the stark contrast between the cold precision of Arcanian logic and the raw, impassioned human spirit was laid bare. Thorn's every command was a reminder of the inevitable march of progress, a march that, in his eyes, left the human race far behind. Yet, as these whispers of destiny cascaded across the void, they also planted a seed of defiance. For in every scornful word was the implicit challenge: prove your worth, or be consigned to the annals of forgotten empires. Far removed from this cold assembly of power, the crew aboard the Aurora's Hope listened with a mixture of apprehension and hardened resolve. The alien messages, though filled with vitriol and derision, served as both a threat and a catalyst. They reinforced the belief that the battle ahead was not merely one of arms, but of spirit, a contest to redefine what it meant to be worthy in the eyes of the cosmos. As the chapter drew to a close, the whispers of the Arcanian left an indelible mark on the fabric of the universe. Their words, sharp as comet trails, were destined to echo in the minds of both friend and foe, setting the stage for a confrontation where pride, ambition, and the unyielding drive to survive would clash in the uncharted realms of space. Deep within the labyrinthine corridors of an abandoned orbital station, hidden from prying sensors and cloaked in darkness, Captain Vega convened the meeting that would redefine humanity's fate. The chamber, once a relic of a bygone age of space exploration, now buzzed with a fervor of clandestine energy. Here, away from the prying eyes of enemy surveillance, the scattered remnants of Earth's fleet gathered for one purpose: to forge a counterstrike against their cosmic oppressors. The room was awash in the soft glow of holographic displays that danced across weathered metallic surfaces. Detailed schematics of prototype warships and revolutionary defensive systems hovered in midair, their intricate lines and shifting colors a testament to human ingenuity. Vega's voice, clear and resolute, sliced through the murmurs of doubt and apprehension that filled the space. "Today, we embark on the path of resurgence," she declared, her gaze sweeping over a diverse assembly of officers and technicians. "We have hidden within our ranks the very seeds of tomorrow's victories. Our new vessels and technologies, once mere sketches on paper, are now ready to challenge the arrogance of the Arcanian armada." Each word resonated like a clarion call. The officers leaned forward, their expressions a mixture of hope and resolve. Among them was Commander Reyes, whose quiet brilliance in engineering had been instrumental in retrofitting the aging fleet with the latest innovations. His eyes, reflecting the flicker of holographic data, spoke of countless nights spent defying the odds, and of the determination to breathe new life into forgotten relics. The atmosphere in the chamber shifted palpably as Vega outlined the tactical advantages of the newly commissioned warships. These vessels, crafted in secrecy and built upon the pillars of innovation, boasted agility and firepower that far exceeded what their predecessors possessed. They were designed to exploit the vulnerabilities of the enemy, swift, elusive, and capable of turning the tide in moments of desperation. During the briefing, heated debates and strategic discussions punctuated the session. Lieutenant Mara, known for her sharp tactical acumen, questioned the risks involved in deploying such untested technologies into the heart of enemy territory. "Captain," she said, her tone both cautious and determined, "if these prototypes fail, our position could be irreparably compromised." Vega met her gaze with unwavering confidence. "Every revolution is born from risk," she replied. "We must dare to trust in our capacity to adapt and overcome. The enemy's derision has only served to sharpen our resolve. It is now our turn to redefine what it means to be strong." As the meeting progressed, maps of enemy formations and strategic points of resistance were analyzed with clinical precision. Each chart was layered with potential scenarios and contingency plans, a complex web of calculations that illustrated the fragility of the alien forces. The officers, united by a shared desire to reclaim lost honor, began to see beyond the immediate dangers. The opportunity to write a new chapter in human history was emerging before them. Outside, far above the beleaguered Earth and its scattered colonies, the station's viewport revealed a silent panorama of stars and distant worlds. The cosmic expanse seemed to pulse with a quiet promise, as if the universe itself was lending its support to this daring endeavor. In that moment, the gathering was not merely a tactical assembly, but a congregation of dreamers and warriors, each one bound by an unyielding commitment to defy fate. As the session drew to a close, Captain Vega's final words echoed in the hearts of every soul present. "We are the architects of our destiny. Let our actions in the coming days forge a legacy that will reverberate across the cosmos. Today, we stand together as titans, ready to reclaim what is rightfully ours." In the hush that followed, a palpable sense of unity enveloped the chamber. The officers dispersed with newfound purpose, each carrying the spark of hope ignited by Vega's unwavering leadership. The hidden arsenal, long kept under lock and key, was now poised to break free, a promise of resistance and renewal that would soon echo through the vast, indifferent void of space. Thus, in the secret heart of a forgotten station, the seeds of rebellion were sown. The stage was set for an epic confrontation, and as the stars bore silent witness, humanity's defiant spirit prepared to rise once more, ready to challenge an empire that had long underestimated the strength of its resolve. In the dim corridors of the derelict space station, silence reigned, a silence that harbored secrets and deceit. The station, long abandoned by its creators, was now a ghostly archive of humanity's fading ambitions and the dark undercurrents of betrayal. Flickering lights cast uneven shadows along metal walls, setting a somber stage for the revelations that were about to unfold. Captain Vega had dispatched a select team to secure vital intelligence believed to be hidden within the station's ancient data vaults. The team, a blend of hardened veterans and daring newcomers, moved cautiously through narrow passageways, their footsteps muffled by layers of dust and time. Among them was Lieutenant Calder, a man whose steadfast loyalty to Vega was matched only by the secrets he seemed to harbor. His eyes, usually so resolute, now flickered with uncertainty as they passed by remnants of lost technology and forgotten memories. As the team reached the core of the station, a labyrinthine chamber lined with dormant terminals and cryptic data archives, an eerie tension permeated the air. The soft hum of a barely functioning generator was the only sound, echoing through the vast emptiness. It was in this silent arena that betrayal would reveal itself, not with the clamor of an enemy's assault, but with the quiet, insidious rustle of treachery from within. In a secluded alcove, hidden behind a collapsed section of reinforced wall, Lieutenant Calder discovered a cache of encrypted files. His gloved fingers danced over a holographic interface as he worked to unlock the secrets contained within. What he uncovered sent a shiver through his spine. Detailed records and communications that implicated a trusted officer, a fellow guardian of the fleet, in clandestine dealings with the Arcanian forces. The files painted a grim portrait of corruption and disloyalty, revealing that this betrayal was not born of greed alone, but of a desperate, misguided hope to negotiate a separate future with the enemy. Calder's heart pounded as he weighed his next move. The revelation was a dagger to the collective trust of the crew. Every face he'd trusted now risked being a mask for treachery, and every whispered conversation in the command center might have concealed ulterior motives. With a heavy resolve, he secured the data, knowing that its exposure could either shatter the fragile unity of the fleet or galvanize them against a common foe. Back aboard the flagship Aurora's Hope, the tension was palpable. Rumors of internal strife had already begun to circulate, amplified by the silent dread of espionage. In the cramped confines of a secured briefing room, Captain Vega convened a meeting with her closest advisors. The weight of recent events hung in the air like a storm cloud, its ominous presence unsettling even the most stalwart souls. Vega's normally steady voice wavered ever so slightly as she addressed the room. "Loyalty is the foundation upon which we build our resurgence," she declared, her gaze meeting that of every officer present. "Today, we confront not only an external enemy, but the insidious seeds of betrayal that threaten to unravel our unity." Her words, laced with both sorrow and steely determination, resonated deeply. The revelation of treachery was a painful reminder that in times of desperation, even the strongest bonds could be tested. As the meeting progressed, the room split into murmurs and guarded glances. Trust, once the lifeblood of their collective struggle, was now a fragile commodity. Officers debated the best course of action. Should they seek to root out the traitor quietly, or expose the betrayal in a bid to reforge a stronger alliance through transparency? The discussions were fraught with tension, each word weighted by the potential consequences of either choice. In a private moment, Vega retreated to her quarters, the echoes of accusations and whispered doubts following her like persistent phantoms. There, amidst personal mementos and the quiet hum of the ship's life support, she allowed herself a brief moment of vulnerability. The betrayal stung deeply, more so than the alien taunts that had haunted them for so long. It was a wound inflicted from within, a fracture in the very core of their identity as a united front. Yet even in the midst of heartbreak, a resolute determination took root. Vega understood that the pain of betrayal, though bitter, could forge a new strength, a strength born of the need to rebuild trust and reaffirm the values that had once defined their legacy. With renewed resolve, she vowed to confront the traitor, not with vengeance, but with the hope of healing the rift that threatened to tear them apart. As the chapter drew to a close, the corridors of the station and the halls of the flagship echoed with the somber notes of a wounded yet unyielding spirit. The revelation of betrayal had sown discord, but it also kindled a fierce desire for redemption. In that moment, amid the uncertainty and heartache, Captain Vega and her crew stood on the precipice of a new battle, one fought not only in the vast reaches of space, but within the very souls of those who dared to dream of reclaiming humanity's lost honor. The stage was set for a reckoning that would test the limits of loyalty and ignite the spark of rebellion, as the echoes of betrayal paved the way for a more determined, united, and ultimately victorious stand against the encroaching darkness. The cosmos erupted in a blaze of violent motion as the long-dormant void became the stage for humanity's defining clash. In the vast emptiness, starships maneuvered with a blend of desperate precision and raw, untempered fury. The air, or rather, the nothingness, vibrated with the silent thunder of engines and the staccato rhythm of laser fire. At the heart of this celestial battleground, the flagship Aurora's Hope led the charge. Its newly retrofitted warships, sleek and bristling with experimental weaponry, darted through debris and cosmic shadows. Every pilot, every officer, was acutely aware that this battle was not only for survival. It was an existential test of the human spirit. On the bridge of Aurora's Hope, Captain Aurora Ori Vega's eyes burned with determination. Before her, a three-dimensional tactical map pulsed with enemy positions and trajectories. The holographic interface flickered as she issued orders, her voice resolute and steady despite the maelstrom outside. Positions. Form the phalanx. We strike at their command nodes. Vega commanded, her tone slicing through the chaos like a beacon of hope. Her words were interwoven with a quiet intensity that transformed fear into resolve. Each command was a declaration of belief that even the mightiest adversary could be felled by unity and sheer human will. Over the comlink, the crisp yet steely voice of Lieutenant Mara reported. Enemy flagship confirmed. Coordinates locked. They're rallying their forces, Captain. The urgency in her tone mirrored the rapid escalation of the battle, where every second counted. Simultaneously, in the dark recesses of enemy territory, Overlord Xyler Thorn observed the unfolding chaos from the command deck of the Arcanian flagship. His gaze, cold and calculating, never wavered from the screens before him. The alien commander's voice, modulated to an almost hypnotic cadence, boomed over his vessel's intercom. Prepare to annihilate these remnants of rebellion. Today, we demonstrate the futility of resistance. His words dripped with disdain and an unwavering belief in his race's superiority. The two voices, Vega's impassioned declaration and Thorn's chilling proclamation, clashed like titanic forces echoing across the expanse of space. In the midst of rapid dogfights, desperate evasive maneuvers, and strategic feints, their opposing philosophies became as palpable as the laser beams crisscrossing the void. The battle itself was a mesmerizing dance of light and shadow. Human warships executed intricate maneuvers, exploiting every fissure in the enemy's formations. A daring squadron, led by Commander Reyes aboard a nimble interceptor, executed a breathtaking pincer movement that rattled the enemy's command structure. Explosions punctuated the silence, their shockwaves rippling through the hulls of colliding vessels and igniting trails of cosmic debris. As chaos reigned, a moment of intimate confrontation emerged. Captain Vega's vessel, having narrowly escaped a barrage of alien fire, locked communications with the enemy flagship. Through crackling static, Thorn's voice resonated. You dare defy destiny, human? Your resilience is as futile as your hopes. Vega's reply was measured and fierce. Our belief is our strength. We rise because we have lost, and because we refuse to let that loss define us. Today, every sacrifice fuels our fight for tomorrow. Her words, laden with raw emotion and unwavering conviction, reverberated through the interstellar void, challenging the arrogance that had so long belittled her people. In that fleeting exchange, the battle transcended mere tactical maneuvering. It became a clash of ideologies, the cold, deterministic precision of the Arcanian doctrine against the indomitable, sometimes messy spirit of humanity. Every burst of energy from a plasma cannon, every evasive twist, echoed this internal struggle, a contest of belief that would determine not just the outcome of this conflict, but the future course of an entire civilization. The dogfights raged on with relentless intensity. Each pilot, fueled by memories of lost friends and the promise of a redeemed future, fought as though every maneuver was a stroke in the epic painting of their collective destiny. The void, once a silent, indifferent witness, now bore the scars of incandescent warfare, a canvas splattered with the embers of hope and the dark hues of despair. For a moment, as debris and light wove together in the endless tapestry of conflict, the universe seemed to hold its breath. It was a heartbeat suspended in time, a final, decisive moment when the echoes of belief and defiance resonated louder than any weapon. And in that moment, Captain Vega and her crew pressed forward with renewed vigor, a living testament to the power of human resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. The battle raged, fierce and unyielding, as the two forces collided in a cosmic struggle that was as much about the heart as it was about might. In the swirling chaos of space, where every spark of defiance challenged the vast cold, the battle of belief had only just begun. In the aftermath of the relentless cosmic clash, silence descended over the shattered remains of battle. The void, scarred by plasma fire and explosive collisions, now cradled the weight of loss. Amidst the drifting wreckage and the cooling embers of defiance, Captain Vega surveyed the damage with a heavy heart. Each smoldering fragment of a warship, each silent chamber aboard the flagship, spoke of sacrifices made in the name of survival. The corridors of Aurora's hope were subdued, the usual hum of activity replaced by the soft murmur of grieving voices and measured steps. Crews gathered in clusters, their faces etched with exhaustion and sorrow. A faint glow of emergency lights lent an otherworldly quality to the scene, a spectral reminder of lives dedicated to a cause that, even in its victory, came at a steep cost. On the bridge, Captain Vega stood before the tactical display, its data now a somber ledger of losses. Images of fallen comrades and fractured formations scrolled past, each number a testament to the personal toll exacted by war. Her eyes, hardened by relentless duty yet softened by the memories of those lost, reflected both the burden of command and the resolve to carry on. A quiet determination took hold as she vowed silently that every sacrifice would forge the path to a renewed future. In the midst of the wreckage, Lieutenant Mara and Commander Reyes worked side by side. They moved methodically through damaged sections of the flagship, ensuring that critical systems were restored and that survivors were accounted for. Their faces were marked with grime and fatigue, yet each action was a deliberate act of defiance against the despair that threatened to overwhelm them. The duo shared a glance, a wordless acknowledgement that in their unity lay the strength to overcome even the harshest night. Elsewhere, in a cramped infirmary lined with flickering bioreactors and the soft beep of life support monitors, medics tended to the wounded. The air was heavy with antiseptic and whispered prayers, each touch a delicate balance between hope and the inexorable pull of mortality. A young ensign, barely old enough to comprehend the full gravity of war, clutched a makeshift token, a faded photograph of family, while a seasoned soldier murmured words of comfort to ease the sting of a deep, festering wound. These quiet moments of human vulnerability intermingled with the larger tapestry of loss, echoing the bitter truth that sacrifice was both the cost and the currency of survival. Captain Vega, now isolated in her private quarters, allowed herself a rare moment of introspection. The dim light of her command console illuminated mementos of a brighter past, a badge from her first deployment, a weathered letter from a fallen friend, relics of a time when hope had been a tangible force. Her thoughts turned to the faces of those who had perished, the brave souls who had given their lives in the void, their sacrifice a solemn promise that their struggles would not be in vain. The grief was immense, but within it simmered an unyielding resolve. She knew that the pain of loss would, in time, transform into the strength required to rebuild their fractured legacy. Outside the battered hull of the flagship, the silent drift of debris and the ghostly silhouettes of destroyed vessels formed an eerie memorial to the fallen. The void, a vast canvas of darkness and distant starlight, seemed to honor each sacrifice in its quiet, unspoken way. As Captain Vega watched this solemn procession, the stars above offered a muted solace, a reminder that even in the deepest night, light could be found in the smallest ember of hope. In this turbulent interlude, the tides of sacrifice had not only claimed lives, but had also unified those who remained. The grief shared across the fleet was a crucible, forging bonds of trust and deepening the commitment to a cause larger than any one individual. The pain of loss became the catalyst for renewal, stirring the hearts of the survivors to honor their fallen comrades by striving for a future where humanity could rise once again. As the chapter drew to a close, the remnants of the battle and the scars of sacrifice whispered a promise. Though the cost had been tremendous, every act of courage and every tear shed was a tribute to the indomitable spirit that would one day propel them to reclaim their place among the stars. The ship, the crew, and the very essence of their struggle were now intertwined in a resolve that burned brighter than the fires of conflict, a resolve that prepared them for the final confrontation and the dawning of a new legacy. As the shroud of battle finally began to lift, a fragile but unyielding light emerged on the horizon of a battered cosmos. The remnants of Earth's fleet, scarred yet unbowed, gathered in a solemn procession above the debris of war, a silent congregation determined to rebuild. In the wake of loss and betrayal, the survivors of Aurora's hope now faced the dawning of a new era with tempered resolve and unbreakable spirit. The flagship, its once proud hull marred by the ravages of conflict, now pulsed with renewed activity. Engineers and medics worked tirelessly side by side as technicians restored shattered systems and repurposed salvaged parts. Every clang of a tool and every spark from a welding torch was a hymn to survival, a testament to humanity's stubborn refusal to fade into oblivion. In the glow of emergency lights and makeshift repairs, hope found a foothold amid the wreckage. In the command center, Captain Vega stood before a reconfigured array of holographic displays, mapping not only the stars, but also the paths to redemption. Her eyes, reflecting both the pain of past sacrifices and the fire of future aspirations, scanned the room where officers gathered to discuss plans for reconstruction. The conversations were hushed yet imbued with purpose, a blend of strategic recalibration and dreams of a restored legacy. Here, every proposal and every whispered hope was a promise that the trials of the past would forge the strength of tomorrow. A newly established council of fleet commanders convened on the observation deck, where the cosmos stretched out in a breathtaking panorama. The stars, once indifferent spectators to the cruelty of conflict, now seemed to wink in silent encouragement. Among the council, voices rose in measured tones, discussing alliances with other remnants of Earth's colonies and the potential for a unified front to secure a future among the stars. Each word was a building block in the foundation of a renewed civilization, each idea a spark destined to ignite the flame of progress. Across the fleet, signals were sent to outposts on Mars, the Moon, and even the hidden enclaves scattered throughout the asteroid belts. These messages, filled with plans for new shipyards, research outposts, and diplomatic channels, were imbued with a profound sense of rebirth. Humanity had not merely survived an assault, it had absorbed the bitter lessons of its past and was ready to evolve beyond them. The unity once shattered by betrayal and loss was now mended by shared hardship and the resolve to rebuild stronger than ever. In a quiet ceremony held on a reconstructed platform in orbit, Captain Vega addressed her loyal crew and the gathered representatives of Earth's scattered remnants. Her voice, both gentle and resolute, carried across the vast silence of space. Today, we rise not as the echoes of our former glory, but as the architects of a future reborn. Every sacrifice, every tear, and every battle has led us to this moment. Together, we will chart a new course among the stars, a legacy forged from unity, resilience, and the unyielding spirit of humanity. The words, simple yet profound, resonated with every soul present, sealing the collective promise of renewal. As the ceremony concluded, the first rays of a new dawn began to filter through the viewport, a celestial sunrise that painted the cosmos in hues of hope and rebirth. The sight was both humbling and invigorating, a reminder that even after the darkest night, light inevitably returns. In that transcendent moment, the survivors of Earth's proud legacy found solace and inspiration, their hearts buoyed by the knowledge that their struggle had not been in vain. The ship, the fleet, and indeed the entire human spirit soared on the wings of this newfound optimism. The scars of battle were now symbols of perseverance, the wreckage of conflict transformed into the raw materials for a future reimagined. With every repaired system, every carefully nurtured alliance, and every dream rekindled, humanity took one resolute step toward reclaiming its rightful place among the stars. And so, as the final chapter of this struggle closed and the pages of a new saga began to be written in the ink of hope and determination, the cosmos bore witness to a legacy reborn, a legacy that would shine brighter than the sum of its scars and echoes, heralding a dawn where the human spirit, unbroken and indomitable, ascended to ever greater heights.